Alright, hello CMS Elks. This is Mr. Macaluso going through the 8th grade IB Community Project Process Journal. And so what this is going to do is go through the steps that you need to do to create the Blogger account. And before we do that though, just go through what is a process journal. So let's start with that. A process journal that you will be doing throughout the entire length of your time with your community project is just this, a demonstration of working behaviors and academic honesty. So you're in the process journal, you're going to be demonstrating the things that you have done throughout the course of the period of your community project to show what you've accomplished, is basically what that's saying. And to be making sure that you've done things in an honest way. You're using sources correctly and you're giving correct citations to work of others. If you do interviews or if you do any kind of research, you've given citations to them. It's a record of your progress. You can write stuff down like written notes. It could be visual things like photographs. It could be audio files. It could be video files even. It could be a combination of all these things are in a process journal. It's something that's personal to you, but it's stored in what we're going to see here at the end called the Community Project Blog. Blog is just an online, it's like an online journal. The journal will be used to show evidence of how you have addressed the 4 objectives to demonstrate achievement. And so those 4 objectives are gone through in different videos, but you've got investigating, planning, taking action, and reflecting. So you will need to use things in your process journal to show how you have met those 4 objectives. So let's talk about what a process journal is and what a process journal is not. Alright, so what it is, it's used consistently and throughout the entire time that you are taking part in your community project. It's going to record things like your initial thoughts, your developments as you go through the project, and brainstorming sessions that you might have with yourself or others, and questions that you have. It's a really good idea to always ask questions in the process as you go and put those in there. Interactions with people, like teachers, things like that. You might have some interviews, anything you have with your supervisor that you'll meet with, or people outside of the community that you, outside of the school community that you might meet with. Bibliography, so you're going to want to make sure it's a place that you can record your selected or bibliography for sources that you've used if you've done some background research, which you will have to. It's a storage place for quotes, pictures, ideas, and photos. It's a place to evaluate your work that you have already completed and to reflect on the learning that has taken place. It's a record of formative feedback received perhaps from your advisor and reflections that you have perhaps for yourself. Now, what isn't a process journal? It isn't something you have to use on a daily basis because you're not going to be doing your project on a daily basis. But note that it's consistently used. You don't just simply use it all at the end, which I think this next one is about, written up after you've done the entire process, community project. You don't write it all at the end. It's written as you've gone through it. It also shouldn't be additional work on top of the project. You don't want to think of it that way. It's part of the project itself and supports what you're doing. It's really going to be a valuable tool as you go through your community project to have the process journal to look at, go back to, and be serve as a guide for yourself. It is not a diary with detailed writing about what is done. You don't detail every little thing that you do as you go through it. Again, it's more of a place for the things that we've noted on the left. It's not a static or unchanging document with only one format. It can be a lot of different things. It could be handwritten notes, it could be typed things, it could be photographs, it could be all the things that we've mentioned and we'll mention here in a moment. And then there's at the bottom here I've just put in, students will provide links to the process journal to your advisors. Legibility is important when you're taking notes, but really it's more important that you've recorded critical and creative thinking in your process journal, not that it has to be legible. And yes, even though this is a digital journal that you will be putting it all in one place, if you prefer to handwrite notes and handwrite what's going on, that is fine. So let's talk about selecting your journal extracts. Students will carefully select evidence from process journals, which we're going to call extracts, to demonstrate development in all the criteria. Again, those criteria that I mentioned before. So at the end, you're going to go through your process journal and select pieces out you'd like to show us that show that you have met the highest levels of the criteria. Extracts are submitted as appendices, which go at the end, to your report and or presentation that you give at the end of the school year. Individuals, you're going to select a maximum of 10 extracts, whereas groups are going to select a maximum of 15. IB doesn't state a minimum, but you just simply need to realize that you have the 4 criteria, the 4 objectives that you're going to be assessed on, so you need enough of those that we can make a good judgment on how well you've achieved. And you're going to select extracts that demonstrate how he or she or the group has addressed each objective. Here are some things that it may include. I'll go quickly through these. Thinking diagrams, bulleted lists like you see here, charts, short paragraphs, notes, timelines and action plans, annotated illustrations, which are illustrations that you have written notes with. Again, research you've written notes with, annotated research. Artifacts from visits to museums, performances, etc. Pictures, photos, and sketches, up to 30 seconds of visual and or audio files. A screenshot of a blog or a website. Self and peer assessment and feedback is what you have there. And at this point, I believe, we're all set. And so the next video will go on and go through the actual process of creating your process journal.